What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Rewind here on Wayward World Studios. I'm Thumali. That's Thumal. I am your host, and I am excited to introduce my next guest, all the way from the mystical, magical land of Seattle, Washington. That's right. We have another Washingtonian in the house, specifically a drag king. He is the reigning Grand Marquis of Emerald City King's Ball, as well as the reigning queer monarch, and he's the king of comedic chaos. He's gross, he's filthy, he's a little sexy, and I'm very excited to introduce him on my show. Please welcome Chance Hazard. How are you doing, Chance?
I am doing great today. Thank you. It's sunny and cloudy in beautiful Seattle, so
Mm-hmm.
get out
Yeah,
more.
that's how it feels. I'm looking outside. I'm in Spokane, Washington right now. So I'm like, it's kind of the same vibe over here. So spring is here in my mind.
Yeah, that it seems it's Seattle spring for sure.
Yep, it's Washington
I'm from
spring.
Rhode Island, so it's different there.
That's good that you mentioned that because like I was like, as an investigator on this podcast, like I was trying to figure out you a little bit more, try to see what I can find, and I was looking. There's no way this guy did Dragon just in 2023, and then he was like, "Oh no, I moved here from Seattle." That is what I figured out, but I couldn't figure out where. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I've been here in Seattle for 2.5 years now.
Really, and you're
Yeah.
doing so much in the area too.
Yes, I cannot stop moving apparently.
That's that is so cool. Well, welcome. The, I'm very excited to have you on. You and your fellow Thunderdome guest Papusa were Papusa was so much fun to talk to, and I think you're gonna have that same vibe. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, no, me and Papusa like meld so well. During Thunderdome, we did Duets Week together, and I was thrilled to be matched with her. I don't know, I feel like her drag is very akin to my own, where it's just like push buttons, like, create a narrative and be absolutely insane on stage.
I love that. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about Thunderdome because, like I mentioned on the show, I was there just for 1 week. Unfortunately, I couldn't support y'all throughout the whole week. Otherwise, I would have. I would have come every Sunday, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I was there for choreography week, and you nailed that. Very excited to talk about that. But before we do, we got to rewind. We got to go back. Why don't you tell my wayward artist out there, Chance, who is Chance Hazard?
Well, Chance Hazard, the king of comedic chaos, is my drag persona. I've been presenting as Chance for about 6 years now. I started back in Providence, Rhode Island. That's where I grew up and where I lived my whole life. And then I moved to Seattle a few years ago. And, you know, uh, I wasn't like active in Providence the way I'm active here. Honestly, I got to Seattle and people were like, I love this weird shit. I was honestly so excited to see that there's a really rich king scene here. It's like one of the best scenes for kings that I've seen in the country. Uh, and like I don't know. It feels like my drag has really evolved. I used to do a lot of like drag stand up. I also like to say about my drag, it's very clown first, gender second. Um that's why I do like, you know, my white base and then just like crazy colors for like my contour and my facial hair. I like to make my drag as, you know, silly as possible, but also, I feel like my art is very much making people comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mm,
Um, I like to story tell, create a narrative, and sort of incorporate, as much blood and gore as I can,
yeah.
while still like fitting into like a very clear story.
I love that. You're so right about the scene here in like the Pacific Northwest in general. Like we have so many amazing drag kings out there. Dizzy Foria was one of them who came on the show. I don't know if you're familiar with Fanny DeVito. Fanny's a drag king here in Spokane as well. Trying
Okay.
his best to make it work out here, but he's very admired within our small community as well. And I had the privilege of having him on. he also competed. We both were nominated for a Spokane Art Award for the category in inclusion. So we had like a friendly rivalry there, and I really loved that. So I actually nominated him too. So it was like it's so cool that you mentioned like Kings too, especially the Emerald City Kings Ball too. When Dizzy mentioned that, I had no idea we even had something like that.
Yeah, the Emerald City Kings Ball is, I believe, the biggest drag king weekend festival that happens at all in the world right now. Um, it was such an honor to win a title from them. Actually, Dizzy Foria won the title Grand Marquis the year previous to me.
Mm.
So when I came on their stage, we actually both wore our sashes together and like had
Oh.
like some shoes, and that was really cool.
Oh, that's so sweet. Dizzy's so amazing. I love what they do in Bellingham so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, and their makeup is absolutely phenomenal. I love a caricature, of a face. You know what I mean? I mean, like hard lines and bright colors are just like I feel really at home with that kind of king makeup. So, yeah, no, it's a kid to my own.
Yeah, no, talk about your own too, because like, yeah, there is that's hyper graphic, like almost cartoony, clowny element to your makeup. Like,
Yeah.
how has that evolved like throughout the years?
So I did not start with clown white, but I really like I've always liked practicing like clowning and like circus arts. As you saw with the performance you saw, I like to juggle in my drag and use props in crazy ways. So honestly, when I started deciding that I wanted a more intense face, I just kind of like went towards that clown white and felt it was like a really good base to create these hard lines that I decided I wanted in sort of wanting to be a little more cartoon like. I'm wearing a shirt right now designed by Harley Sane.
Eh, Oh, look at
My
that. That's you.
Yeah, I was like, wow, it looks like me both in and out of drag. Very impressive,
Oh,
honestly.
interesting.
Um, so I'm quite happy with this merch, honestly. Yeah, they're such a talented drag king.
Yeah.
If you have not had them yet, definitely check them out. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that my makeup is honestly always evolving as I, see artists that I like and I like follow so many makeup artists. I learn different things, and I'm definitely not somebody who has like just one face.
Mhm.
I like, yeah, I like to do interesting things with my makeup as often as possible.
Oh yeah. It's a good thing you brought up the merch because like maybe you can like tell me something because I also have merch. It's still up there, but it hasn't been updated in years. It has the old title of the show and everything like that. But I would wear my own podcast merch. And then people like, do you do this thing I do where if someone asks like, "Hey, your shirt's really cool. Where's that from?" It's like, "Oh, there's just this little podcast and like the guy who hosts it like he's really amazing. He brings like queer storytelling like and stuff like that. You should go check it out." And like they check it out and they realize it's me. Like they're just like, have you done that before? Like does anyone but like has anyone done that yet?
No, so I mean, I usually wear my merch in like drag situations,
Mm,
so people know that it's me. Um, but
that's
also, I mean, I feel like, yeah, I just haven't. Most of the situations in which I'm like wearing my merch, it is in a situation where people know I'm Chance Hazard. So
I
no, that
love
hasn't
that.
happened just yet.
Well, I totally recommend it because like that's such an ego boost. They're just like, oh yeah, I really like this character that's on your shirt, and
Yeah,
and you just play around with them a little bit, like just lie a little
yeah.
bit.
Listen,
Um,
I love being jokey with people.
I, I love
I,
that. No,
I am constantly messing just a little bit.
I love that. Like you can tell that in like your makeup too. Like just looking at some of your recent stuff. Like I love your queer monarch one. I'm pulling it up here on Instagram right now. You kind of have like it's kind of like a an animal graphic almost. Like you have like the little nose and like the freckles. Like it kind of looks like like it kind of looks like a kitty cat like to me, but like,
Yeah.
it was at the
Um,
intention.
that night, what I won Grand Marquis with was I did my serial killer number,
Mhm.
which is a number in which I'm Tony the Tiger. Uh, and it like starts out with some like news clips about serial killers in Seattle, and then it's a struggle for Tony trying to keep his humanity, but in the end he just starts killing cereal boxes.
Oh wow. It,
Yeah, it's a little gory, you know.
a little silly, but like, where does your sense of humor come from? Like, who introduced you to like the things that you are interested in?
Well, children of trauma. No, I'm just
Uh,
kidding.
but
Like
we know.
I feel like I've always just, everything about me is a bit, I always say. Um, I've done a lot of stand up. As I said, I've been in, circus spaces for a long time. And I think it just sort of like comes with the territory of my personality. I just, you know, I like stories, I like jokes, and I like finding ways I can navigate mediums of art to sort of show that.
I love that. And what about the name Chance Hazard? Like, did you land on that right away? Like, did you have different iterations initially?
Well, I used to in sort of a, I've messed in like every medium of art, I swear to God,
Mhm.
and so the sort of like name that I used to go by was Live Danger. And when I wanted to, you know, masculinize that in to a new form of art, Chance Hazard just kind of felt like the natural project like progression from it. Uh but yeah, I was like, mostly doing like, selling art on Etsy and doing TikTok stuff. So uh, when I sort of went for Chance Hazard, I kind of dropped Live Danger in the background and
Mhm.
just stick with this.
How long have you been Chance at this point?
Well, I have been Chance since I started drag like 6 years
Oh,
ago.
okay.
Yeah. I have never changed my name. I've thought about it because, it's a play with words, but not a play on words, I would say. I feel like some people's names sound like something else and that's cool or like it's some type of sexual thing, but honestly, uh Chance Hazard, it just like, it feels right. I am certainly a danger to myself and others. And it just like, yeah, I'm generally a spaghetti chef where I'm just like, throwing things on the wall to see what sticks, but I'm a
Yeah,
committer. So
I
stick
love
with it.
that. No, that sounds great. I think you should stick with it at least for a while because like you have a whole aesthetic that you kind of like revolve around Chance Hazard. I love like when we were talking on Instagram and stuff like that, you would use the little Hazard logo for like,
Yeah.
and I knew what it meant. You know, I knew like what that response was, and but like that's the Chance Hazard thing, and then you have your sign, your slow. Yeah, you have very clear branding. I love an artist who has like a stamp, and I feel like you have that like as the initial thing, but there's obviously more to you for sure.
Yeah, no, certainly. I don't know. I feel like, I am like neurodivergent and uh I really like very clear iconography. And so when I had like the option to sort of like choose my logo, I was like, all right, well, I want to put this on like as much of my clothing as possible. I want to like be able to sort of have something that is like easy for people to like look at and like be like, okay, so Chance will be at this event. Perfect.
Okay. No, that's very smart. I love branding. Like I have a specific aesthetic for this channel. It changes every time, but like right now we're very Y2K. It's very like early 2000s like type vibe right now, and I'm very happy with how it looks. So like I love a good branding, especially like then people will recognize like, oh yeah, like you said, like that's Chance Hazard. Like I've seen him on Instagram, I've seen him wherever. I recognize his little traffic control outfit, and I know it's crazy time.
Yeah, no, pretty much. Yeah. It is funny showing up to a show. I feel like my one of yes, I'm putting on a show for everyone else, but also everyone else is my show. Because I feel like if people have not seen me perform before and they see me perform, my favorite thing is to like look back at the pictures and there's always like one or two people minimum behind me like shocked but entertained, like
Mhm.
absolutely entertained, but maybe there's like a little appall, but like they're growing from it.
Yeah, no, like with yeah, I was looking at your videos, like your tearaway pants. I saw exactly what you were talking about when you tore off your like orange pants and you had the orange cone, and you did what you did with that orange cone, and then you had someone else like pull out that measuring tape. I could see the people in there, like you said, like just being, what's going on? What's he doing?
It's so serious. People like literally like cover their mouths and are just like in shock. They're in it. They're ready. They like it, but they are in shock.
Yeah, that they were interested in like they're more let me see, used to like drag queens and like
Yeah,
beauty and like stuff like that. Then that you come around and just like turn their whole
with my
world upside
traffic
down.
cone jock strap.
Ex-
Asking
exactly.
people to sound it with dollars, like, come
No,
on.
I saw those videos. Like that's so smart. That's so smart. That's so smart. I wish I was there for that. That would have been so funny. But the other question I have for you is, you said you're from Province. You said Provincetown, right?
Providence, Rhode Island.
Providence, Rhode Island. What
Yeah.
brought you all the way over to Washington? Like that's so far to move away from.
Well, I I
Yeah,
have some friends.
yeah, if it's like
It's
too
okay.
much,
No, no,
yeah.
it's good. No, I have three of my longest friends, we've all known each other for like 15 years. Um, decided they were moving to Seattle and they were like, we're moving to Seattle. And I said, can I come? I did not, you know, I had lived in the same city for my entire life. Rhode Island's very small. The city of Seattle, I mean, is about two-thirds the size of the state of Rhode Island. And, the thing about Rhode Islanders is like, them because they never leave.
Mhm.
And also, it's like, you tell a Rhode Islander that you want to go somewhere 10 minutes away, they look at you like you are insane. Nobody like leaves their little bubbles, And I was like, I'm in my 30s, if I don't leave now, I don't know if I'll ever leave or have the opportunity to. So I have a safety net going. And I thought a lot about it. And I quit my job, broke up with my girlfriend, told my family goodbye, and moved to Seattle.
Oh
I
wow.
had never been here. And also, I remember my girlfriend being like, "What's in Seattle?" And I was like, I don't know, not Providence. And they were
Yeah.
like, "You know where Seattle is?" And I was like,
Yeah.
the other side of the country. Like I knew nothing about Seattle when I bought my plane ticket, like not a joke.
Yeah, that's interesting. She's talking like as if it was like some unknown city, like it was just like a rural town like Seattle. Like you're as if she was talking about Spokane, Washington, which is like that's the response that you would have about Spokane. Like, what's in Spokane? Nothing.
No, I think she was just like genuinely like, what is bringing you out there? And I was like, honestly, opportunity.
Hmm.
And I make video diaries to myself sometimes. And I was looking at the one that I made right before moving here recently. And, I'm going through these pros and cons about whether or not I want to do this. And I talked about how I felt so uninspired where I was.
Hmm.
And like my final wishes to myself in this like half-hour video that I did to myself were just like, future me, I hope you do move to Washington, and I hope that you find inspiration. And I am so grateful that I did both.
Yeah, for sure. It's so nice hearing what you're saying right now because like I'm kind of in that process right now. I'm also in my 30s and I've lived in Spokane for about 12 years now. It's almost 13. I was raised in Saudi Arabia. I'm like half
Oh,
Saudi.
cool.
Yeah, so like I came here when I was like 20, 21. My mother's from Spokane, so she was living here at the time. She still is. I mean, she still lives here. I live in her house. And like I what kind of inspired me to like move was just like I've reaped all the benefits here. Like I just got an award for my podcast last year. It's like this is it. Like we're done.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Like award-winning podcast host. Who would have thought after five
That's
years? Yeah. But after that, I was just like, there's nothing here. This is it. We won an award like in Spokane. What like we need to get out and go to Seattle because I've been going to Seattle pretty much. I go like, at least 3 or 4 times a year. Like it's because
mm,
it's close by. Usually I take the plane, it's a little expensive, but I hate driving. I hate that 8 hour wait time on the bus and stuff.
8 hours.
It's like 4 or 5. I would say 8 because buses they have to stop and stuff like that. So it's just like in
That's
comparison, in comparison to half an hour on the plane, yeah, that makes it so much easier.
that
Um,
makes sense.
and I just like there's just more culture there. There's more opportunity there. It just felt right. And so when I saw your performance at Thunderdome, I was actually looking at apartments because I am seriously planning to move real soon. And
That's awesome. Good
yeah,
for
so
you.
yeah, it's nice to hear that you were kind of going through the same thing, and you're also in your 30s, like just thinking about that move.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I was like, a lot of people are surprised.
Really?
I, black don't crack. So
Uh,
I know that I look young, but yeah, I got a lot of things that I've done under my belt.
oh
But
yeah.
actually, one of my friends who I moved here with also grew up in Saudi Arabia.
Hmm. Are they queer?
Yes,
Oh my God. Well,
yeah.
hello. I there's like there's not a lot of us out there. So it's just like, oh my God, it's a queer Saudi. Like that's cool.
Yeah,
Hmm.
he's Ethiopian and Turkish, but
Oh, he was raised there. Okay, so he's not Saudi, but like he's
right,
Ethiopian.
right. He
But he
grew
was
up
raised
there.
he grew up there.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. You see, I got a little too excited because I'm like,
Sorry. Well, I mean,
where
still
I,
exciting.
yeah, it's so exciting. Yeah, he's still Middle Eastern, he's still Arab because like those are like a lot of Arab
Yeah.
countries. But like, the Saudi is like we need the place where they like actually kill queer people. Like I want to see those people out there. You know what I mean? Yeah, like not a lot of us Saudis out there. So like I'm glad to exist and kind of represent. I have a few Saudi followers on my Instagram and they saw me in drag and stuff like that. And they were very motivated by what I was doing. So
Yeah.
I love to be a beacon for my Saudi and all my Arab siblings as well.
That's very cool.
Hmm. Going back to you, what inspired you to do comedy and like horror and like what inspires your aesthetic? I guess what kind of movies, what kind of music? Is there any like particular people that you watch that like helped make you grow as an artist?
Honestly, the people around me helped me grow as an artist. I, I, I find so much inspiration from like these local kings that I work with so much, honestly. But also, what you know, what I do when I first started, bringing chants, you know, back to life because I had taken a break from drag during COVID
Mhm.
because it just wasn't happening like that for me. Uh, and um, and when I was bringing chants back, it was like, okay, so horror comedy. That is, I think, what I'm going to go for. That's going to be my branding. Um, but as I was like making these acts and the way that I sort of like put together my stuff is like everyone else, like every artist in the world, I have my notes app. And I have lists of songs, I have lists of bits, I have lists of props, and I have lists of costumes. And I just kind of like can use any of these things as a jump off point of creating sort of a story. Um, but once I figure out the story, then the story, and maybe I just have the story, but like the story is what leads the creativity. So, for the act that you saw, my uh, Mr. Cleanup act, that's an act in which I am pulling juggling scarves out of all my pockets, sort of like, uh, a nod to old school sort of silly juggling. Uh, not too many people juggle with scarves on stage anymore, but it used to be like a real bit that a lot of jugglers used to do. Um, and when I was developing this act, it was actually a staff spinning act.
Ah,
and and in sort of the process of figuring out what the story was, it turned into, this period sex act where I'm then like, pulling these red scarves out of my bulge. Uh, this and the staffs sort of no longer had a place in the act.
mm,
And so, I readjusted. And it was that act, in fact, that kind of like made me reform how I was thinking about what my persona was. Cause I was like, this isn't horror, you know, this is comedy, but it's not scary. It's bloody. It's kind of gross. It definitely is making people uncomfortable. But it's not horror. And so yeah, I really just like to identify as that like person who is creating chaos, pushing buttons and making people uncomfortable in a way that they like.
mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely, something that's constantly evolving, but also, in not pinholing myself to just horror, uh and sort of like focusing on the comedy aspect of it, I've, been able to do performances that wouldn't have fit into that I feel like are now like sort of integral parts of who Chance is, like my cowboy numbers.
Okay. Talk about your cowboy numbers. I'm curious about that. I don't think I've seen any of that. Like, well, I probably wasn't paying attention or like I missed it, but tell me
No
about
me.
those. Yeah. Tell me about those cowboy numbers.
The Thunderdome, I did my cowboy number for comedy week, though realistically, every week was comedy week for me.
Yeah.
um, but my whole cowboy bit is I have a hobby horse,
Okay.
nice shiny rhinestoned hobby horse, sort of marionette-esque. I have a little, string so I can have it speak. And I like to do this sort of like love story between Chance and the hobby horse to some Dallas Dixon, who is a gay country singer.
Hmm.
It's pretty like explicit country music about, you know,
Oh no,
partying.
that's it. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, and he's a switch. He's bottoming and topping. I love it.
I
But
love that.
yeah, yeah. But like, I I really like country music, to be honest.
Really?
Uh, yeah, it's also unexpected. There's not getting to know me is like, okay, I should just expect to hear the last thing that I think I'm gonna hear. No problem. Um, but yeah, so like, you know, I really it's one of my favorite numbers, and I feel like it's one of it's I think my only number where I don't do an outfit change.
Okay.
Um, just because the act speaks for itself. Um, in what I am doing. And, that is I would say it's like the most intimate prop work I do because there's only one prop.
Nice.
Um, and I am fucking the hobby horse. So clothes on.
Yeah. I love that. Is it the one I think you pinned it actually. I was looking at your Instagram just now, and are you wearing the
Right?
rhinestone? What's that?
The horseplay.
Well, I don't see a horse. I see you wearing denim a lot, and it had like like the Hazard logo. It was like in rhinestones.
Yes,
I
yes,
think I
yes.
could see that. I think I can actually see the hat behind you.
You can
Like
can I grab
yeah,
that? Like,
sure. Show it off.
this is clairvoyance made my face.
Oh, oh,
Right?
that's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Shout out to Clara. She's amazing.
He's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah. Was that the outfit that like from the bit that you were talking about just now?
yeah.
Okay. No, you look so good in it. These photos though, like these photos are so like we're gonna have it up like playing like a little slideshow of like all your photos and performances, but
Cool.
these it looks so like dreamy. Like you're waking up in a dream and it's like sparkly.
I
Um,
know the shoot where you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It was yeah, it was at Cremwork. It wasn't exactly like Thunderdome at Queer Bar, but
Right.
it looks I don't know. You look sickening in all of these. Like we could like literally I feel like we can make like a whole episode just talking about every single outfit. It's like just so different, but like there's so many elements in it that like as you were like talking about yourself, like I could see everything that you're talking about. Like I see the chance hazard of it all in like all
Right.
these very different outfits.
Right, right, yeah. And that's why I'm really glad that I didn't like pinhole myself into that horror and like really just like pinhole myself into the comedy.
Mhm.
Because that's everything. I can make anything funny, and I do.
I love that. Who
Yeah.
introduced you to like were you introduced to comedy at a young age? Like how did you where do you think a lot of your comedy comes from? Like
I think I'm just like a goofy, silly little guy, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think that, you know, being autistic, uh, comedy was one of the easiest ways to connect with people as a kid. So it's just like, I remember like writing down going to funnyjunk.com and going to like the joke section and like writing down a list of jokes and like keeping them in my pocket as like a little kid. And so I just like always had like something to come off with.
mm,
And I feel like, that sort of, mentality has made me into a good host,
mm,
where I can just like do bits between, performance sets where it like is very natural
mhm,
because I've just been doing bits in conversation my whole life. But it's just like something that I've always like really enjoyed, and I don't really know how to interact without it. Um, Sometimes when my girlfriend is like, in a more like chill mood, she's just like, no bits right now. No bits.
Dang.
Right, 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 right. Got it,
You
got
would
it. Serious
you,
talk, serious talk.
yeah, you drive people crazy with your jokes, huh? For real.
I do.
I love that. No, especially I relate to that as a kid too. Once I figured out that I can make people laugh, even unintentionally, like I'll say, like I have a very deadpan way of talking sometimes, and I'll say something that it could be a little bit out of pocket or something like that, like not like offensive or anything like, but it was just like me being like completely honest, but like in a jokey way. and it just people can never really tell if I'm being serious or not.
Yeah.
And I think that's helped me be like also a good host on the show, like just like
Yeah.
back and forth and trying to figure out what to say next.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like sometimes people are like, "Are you being serious?" I'm like, "I'm not sure.
Oh,
I could not tell you." I'm
I,
like, partially, probably.
yeah.
Who knows?
Speaking of like hosting and stuff like that, yeah, I didn't. I think I saw that you do host some shows, but I don't know which ones exactly. How long have you been hosting?
I mean, I hosted Studio Saturdays at Kremwork, an open stage, for most of last year. But starting this year, it was, you know, my production team sort of gave it back to the old host, and so they're producing it again. But yeah, no, I host here and there, whatever shows, there needs to be a host for, so I don't have like a regular show. I will be hosting Panty Riot at the end of the month on the 30th. Very excited for that. I'm also going to be officiating a wedding ceremony between two burlesquers. Uh, their burlesque personas are getting married. Very
Ah,
excited.
oh, that is the that is so drag. Like that is so
Yeah.
like gay, it's, like specifically like the burlesque performers specifically, and like not the people that are like represented, but like the actual like performers like are getting married. Like that's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was like, are you a minister? Like I didn't even know. Like, can you like access? Like, can you actually officially?
No, I'm not legally marrying these people, but it's gonna be fun.
Oh no, for sure. No, I love that so much. What do you prefer more? Do you prefer being a host or do you like like the performing side of it?
That's tough. So I love performing. I love being on stage. I want people looking and laughing at me. I think that's so fun. I like interacting with the audience, and I like hosting because it does give me sort of like that freedom to play around with the audience in like a very candid way. Um, but I really like performing because then I get to show people what I can put together in a very thoughtful way.
Mm.
And I'm not using props when I'm hosting, and all of my performances have many props. I love props. So I like them for different reasons. I don't know if I could pick which I like better. I think I like a show where I can do one performance and hosting. Like two sets and hosting is a lot. But sometimes when I'm just hosting, I'm like, ooh, I wish I could also have like gone around and done my friend Sid, I actually wanted to kill them. Not you, Sid.
Oh yeah.
But my friend Sid, I would get all dressed up, to go to my gigs when we were roommates, and they'd be like, "Ah, you going out to do your little song and dance?" And I was
Oh,
like,
little.
"Yeah, yeah, I am." The way you're saying that, very biddable, but that is technically what I'm gonna go do.
Yeah. I,
Now I always call it my little song and dance.
I love that. Is it are you mentioning Sid Seedy?
No, no,
Different Sid.
different
Okay.
Sid, not a performer.
Yeah. That's the problem. There's too many Sids. That's why I go by Thumali in drag. That's just my last name.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. But no, I think you can put a prop in like your hosting. Like you could do some kind of prop. How about a prop microphone?
The microphone is very much my prop. Yeah.
Yeah, or like a big one, like you just do like a megaphone type thing and just yell things.
I'm I'm black and Italian. I do not need a megaphone. There's no volume switch on this guy.
Wow.
Honestly, I say good thing I'm not taller because I'd be way too intense.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. That was really funny though. Like you do got the jokes. Like I'm laughing out here. I like to describe Arabs as like Italians too. We talk with our hands and we're also very loud too. Like I've been in situations in Saudi Arabia where people were like physically like fighting each other like to not pay the bill. Like like they're trying
Oh,
to show
yeah.
yeah, like to show like generosity, like, no, I'm paying the bill. Like, no, you're not paying the bill, blah, blah, blah. And it's like it's an act of kindness, but like if a white person saw it right now, they would have thought like they're gonna kill each other.
Right, right. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, white people don't get it.
No, they don't. They just don't. And I'm half white, so I can defend
It's not, it's a different culture, you know?
No, yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, how did you break into the scene in Seattle? Because like we mentioned earlier, you're really like just you're at every gay bar like that the city can like put you in, and it's only been just a few years. Like, how did you break into the scene? Because like it's pretty competitive.
It is pretty competitive. I performed for the first time at an open stage. I had gone up to a couple producers, but I wasn't active online
Mhm.
like that for my drag. Um, in Rhode Island, everybody knows each other.
Mhm.
but uh but I got out here and I was like, oh, nobody knows who I am. I guess I have to create an online presence.
Mhm.
Because I had like spoken with a few producers. They're like, how do we know you're good at drag? And I was like, fair question. Fair question. I get it. So I actually started performing at Open Stage. I started performing at Studio Saturdays at Kremwork, and got noticed by some different producers. Um, I volunteered at the Emerald City Kings Ball
Mhm.
the first year I was here. And then the next year I was here, I won a title for the Emerald City Kings Ball. So
Yeah,
I feel like, I like talking to people. I love, talking costuming and, I love talking, makeup. And I feel like I just, as an East Coaster, I feel like I'm not afraid to just come into conversation with anybody. And I think that that was refreshing for a lot of people. And not to toot my own horn, but I'm a pleasure.
no, no,
I'm a pleasure to work with. So
yeah,
I feel like it was like really just like word of mouth and you know, nice in person.
yeah. I love your energy. You are definitely pleasant to talk to, and like just engaging with you right now, like it's been so much fun so far.
Yeah, I'm having a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, like getting into it, like we were talking, I don't know whose episode it was. Oh, it was we had DJ Memo on the show, and he mentioned the exact same thing that you were saying, like going out there, talking to people, like that's how you like get into these spaces like queer bar and stuff like that. Like a lot of people just like, oh yeah, here I am in drag, like cast me, book me, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So yeah, you have to like I don't know, show them what you're worth.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's like, going out in drag is a great way to get like visibility as far as, you know, what your mug is and who you are, like, as, this sort of caricature of yourself. But I really find that the only way to really connect with people is to ask them about their drag and compare, what y'all's experiences are doing drag. And I think that, there is something to be said for the Seattle community, um, that they are very mindful of wanting to have diversity in their shows. I think that that is something that is really cool about this community. And I definitely feel like, in the past, I've lost a lot of performance opportunities elsewhere, um, because, like, a show is being run by, a bunch of skinny, like, white twinks,
Mhm.
which I love skinny white twinks, but I don't fit that. I'm a chubby, teeny tiny, like, black king who is not doing sexy. I mean, there's a little sexy in there, but that's not the point of this performance, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I feel like my drag in a lot of ways is such an outlier, and that is, you know, really put me at a distance from a lot of shows. But getting to Seattle, people are like, oh, this is not like anything else that we're seeing. we gotta like get this in here because we want something different, and that is really cool about Seattle.
Yeah.
um I made a joke and recently about it, and I was like, and my friend just said, yeah, you're like, a DEI Venn diagram that is just two circles or overlapping and you winking in the middle. I was like, that's exactly what's happening. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think like that observation is also really interesting because like I feel like that's just the Pacific Northwest like history when it comes to like art specifically. Like Seattle has always been known as like the grunge. Like that's where grunge and punk rock and like underground stuff like came through. And it's like it was a different sound back in like the early 90s and stuff like that. Like I think Washington as a whole, like Washington specifically, I don't know about Portland too much or anything like that, that part of the Pacific Northwest, but Washington, I always feel like they're trying to do something different. Like regardless of like where you are, whether it's in Spokane or Seattle, like the art scene is always trying to find a new thing. And like whether it's like something that you're familiar with, like doing something new with that, to like finding the next big like artist, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah. No, that does make sense. And like honestly, it is cool to because I do you know, some like, drag to anywhere between like, dad rock to like literally metal. Some of my drag, and that is not always something that people are ready for. But I will say that people are ready in Seattle. People like it. The jury's out.
Yeah.
Like
No, for sure.
I really dig that, there's still like, I feel like an alternative culture to it, like, and a lot of the girlies were doing a lot of like EDM and poppy music. Specifically, I'm thinking about Thunderdome again, but and I was really nervous in coming to Queer Bar that I don't do that. I'm not a club music performer. I just don't really do it that much. There's some club music songs and some of my things, but that's just like not something that I'm centered around. Um, but it's like no, people are so down for it to be across the board, I
Yeah.
find.
Yeah. And it's a good thing you brought up Thunderdome because I do want to talk about that right now. Thunderdome was really unique because a lot of the artists on there, like they a lot of them come from like different aspects of like drag entertainment. Like you didn't necessarily you had a bunch of like your standard drag queens that who did a phenomenal job, but then you have people like you who are in it, like to diversify things, and people like Mimi Gina. Who brought the horror, like the actual, like she was very scary, spooky, creepy with the cockroaches and all that stuff. Like I talk with her on social media. Like
Yeah.
I love Mimi Gina so much. Tell me how you did you first hear about Thunderdome and like what made you want to apply to it?
Well, I feel like I thrive in competition. I love competition. I love to see what other people are bringing. I love to, meet people and network and like, I don't know, see where the scene is at elsewhere, and where people are at with their art. So, I feel like competitions have a tendency of like bringing the best of performances out of me, and I like the way they push me. So I just saw, it was posted online, and somebody sent it to me, the application, and I was like, bet, sounds good. And to be completely candid, I did not think that I was gonna get it. I
Really?
was like, I am fairly certain that I am the first like solely mask presenting king that has ever been in a queer bar competition at all. Um
Really? Oh, wow.
yeah. I I know that there has, Feather Fatale is drag thing queen and king, who was also in Thunderdome with me, but most of their drag that they presented was great, but most of it was queen. And when I was chosen to be a part of the competition, I was, really overwhelmed with the thought that my stuff, is it going to go over well with Queer Bar? That sort of like audience, like, and also like, I don't know, the runway portion was something that really, uh, it, it felt like a big ask of
Mhm.
me because I've never done anything like that before. Uh, but I felt that I had to do it to give some king representation, to show people what kings can bring to their shows and you know, what true entertainment you can get from some mask energy as well.
Mhm.
Um, Not saying that I'm not the faggiest little guy you'll ever speak to, because I
Yeah.
am.
Oh yeah.
But, but it's like, I just feel like something that did feel really good is after, many of my performances, people came up to me and were like, wow, I've never seen a drag king before. And and like they were like, and I cannot wait to see more of drag kings, and that is what I wanted out of Thunderdome. Of course, it would be nice to win, but to be honest, that was not. I'm a board game collector, and I'm a striving player. I don't play to win. I play for the sake of the struggle.
Mhm.
Um, you know, so that being my biggest goal and having achieved that feels so satisfying.
Oh yeah. No, that, like, and it's crazy that like a lot of people came up to you saying like this is the first drag king performance they ever saw. Just tell them to go to Unicorn. It's right next door. They have a bunch of kings there. And
Yeah.
Krempark, I think Massive, I think does stuff with drag kings, but like that's so cool that you get to like represent like your community in that aspect, like the drag king community. And
Yeah.
like what I loved so much about Thunderdome was like just following it throughout the week as much as I could. No one got eliminated. I thought people were gonna get eliminated. That's what I was telling Pupusa. Like I thought it was like a very drag race, like Dragula type thing where oh,
Like
so and so
final.
went, yeah, like final girl type thing. Like oh, you didn't do well this week and you got to go home type thing. It was really like even if you didn't win, like it was going to be a great way to like showcase what you have to bring in drag and like
Yeah.
open up like networking opportunities. Have you gotten a lot of opportunities like after your performance in Thunderdome?
I have gotten a lot of new networking opportunities, yes. And I feel so fortunate to have been able to break into the queen scene more by doing this.
Mhm.
Um, Queer Monarch, the one of the sashes that I won last year, is a mainly, burlesque sort of oriented competition, just like not saying anybody can't do it, but mostly burlesquers are the ones who compete. And then, Emerald City Kings Ball, it's an all kings show. And most of my books from being in Seattle have been through burlesque uh, and just like being the king there. Um, and then being like drag performances for kings and things. And like, yeah, there are like queens who know me and know kings book me, but like this really did open doors for like, you know, queens who maybe didn't know I existed until this.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that. I hope everyone got like a really good opportunity because like I think
Me too.
I had like that night during choreography week, the energy was just like up the roof. I was so glad I was there for that week because
Yeah.
not saying the other weeks would have been like bad or booger or whatever, but like I felt like I don't know about you, but like I felt like if there was any week to be there, like choreography week was like insane, the energy in that room.
Honestly, all the weeks were good. All the weeks were good.
Mhm.
But I think that some of my favorites were choreo week, duets week, where me and Papusa did our duet. The we did a 9/11 themed duet.
Oh, oh.
And Americans love making fun of 9/11. And so
They
I
do.
was like, this is gonna go over great. And it did. People will never forget that performance.
Exactly. There we go. You got jokes. He's got jokes.
But no, I mean, like, that was one of my favorite weeks. I don't get to collaborate super often like that. Um, but it was, that was one of my favorite weeks. Comedy weeks was one of my favorite weeks. Um, Honestly, the first night was one of my favorite nights. I really liked seeing people like introducing themselves with their drag.
Mhm.
That was really cool.
Yeah. I do want to talk about the 9/11 bit because like Papusa did not talk about that part. So I'm very interested about hearing that performance. But one thing we did dive into in Papusa's episode was like the introduce yourself, like a week of Thunderdome. And she introduced herself. She introduced her culture from El Salvador. She actually brought in pupusas and she did folklorico, like the traditional Latino dancing and stuff like that. Um, what was your like introduction to people? Like, how did you introduce yourself?
So my my branding, the hazard symbol and such.
Oh yeah.
That is, and my construction worker outfit. That's like sort of like uh you know, on all my stickers, that's what you see. And I had this construction worker fit that I had been working on for a long time, and mostly I had done improv burlesque with it.
Hmm.
Uh, Knowing that I had to make my signature act with it at some point. Uh, and when Thunderdome rolled around and they said, we got to see your signature act, I developed it for that performance. Um, and I wanted to present myself as the chaos, as funny, as unexpected and making you uncomfortable. Honestly, like my collapsible traffic cone jockstrap is one of my favorite props I've ever come up with. Um, and being able to center this act around both my branding, but also, I had some quotes in there from the SpongeBob SquarePants movie
Wow.
where he's like, I am 100% man. Like, just like really like setting the tone of, this is a king coming into this competition. And this is a dude. Like, that is what I'm doing. Get ready for that. And also, the first thing that I wanted to do in the competition and my runway for that week was I made a suit out of biohazard trash bags.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm seeing it. Not to interrupt you, but like I have it pulled up here. Like, tell me about it because like it looks so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, no. So I wanted, you know, as I said, Thunderdome, the runways were the part that I was honestly the most nervous about. I'm like, okay, we need a runway outfit, we need outfits for our performances, and we need curtain call outfits for 8 weeks. I'm not sure that I have 24 outfits for myself that I can just wear. So it was like, really nerve wracking. And week one, and I did, I had a team of people who were helping me costume, who were helping, me by like, funding getting outfits or letting me borrow things. In week one, I wanted to come out and really display that with my runway that you don't need money to make art. You don't need money to make art, and you shouldn't. You shouldn't wait till you have the money to make your art. You should make your fucking art. Um, so, it was kind of a statement piece, whereas I I walked out in this trash bag suit, and then as I was walking down the runway, I just ripped it off
Hmm.
while walking, and had like some cardboard pasties and one covering up, my junk that just said "Make your art." Um, and because I didn't want to go out there wearing anybody else's clothes. I wanted to go out there showing the chaos, which is me.
Hmm.
But also, I don't bind. Um, I am trans mask outside of drag. I'm a boy and I have boy titties and I don't care. I'm not embarrassed about that. And I don't know, maybe I'll get top surgery one day, but that is not at all my goal.
Hmm.
Uh, and so I wanted to immediately go out there, get naked, and show my body. I wanted to, be like, I am not padding. I know I'm not like, the conventionally attractive sort of person where, I know I'm hot, but I know that I'm not like, this person who's like very much editing their body to do their drag. And I'm still gonna make my art and I'm still gonna entertain and I'm still gonna blow your mind. Uh, but I wanted to really make the statement that I am aware that I'm not doing that and I'm aware that you're aware.
Okay. No, I love that. I loved like the beginning part, like of the trash bags. Like how did the construction of that happen? Because like those look like actual like hazard like trash bags. Like because I work in the healthcare. Okay, nice. So how did you seam it? Like how did you like put it all together like that?
So I am not a costumer. I do not know how to do that. So what I really did was I just like took clothing pieces that I have, uh, you know, measured it out, sort of laid them on top of trash bags, cut extra material, like, left a leave on the sides, and used literal scotch tape to fasten it together as best I could where I could still rip it off.
Mhm.
Um, and, it was a really chaotic way of doing things. My friends were like watching me like, this is so stressful. Like it was a stressful thing to watch. Um, and I'm sure I could have watched a video online on how to sew a coat or something that would have been helpful. But I didn't do that. I just did it.
No, yeah, you couldn't even tell like any like it looks perfect.
Thank you.
I think this would be like such a great like host outfit. Like if you're being presented with an award or if like you do your step down for your Emerald City ball like Grand Marquis like sash like you should wear something like that. Like that would just be like
Yeah, I'd love to get this made into an actual outfit, not just trash bags, to be honest. I think it's a really good look.
mhm.
But I mean, the trash bags look, I'm really proud of that outfit. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm the most proud of in Thunderdome, in
Yeah.
like what I presented.
Well, if Alaska can look stunning in a trash bag, like you can also look stunning in a trash bag too.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
really appreciate
Do you watch any of the drag reality television shows? I guess specifically Dragula is more Kingsy, but like you could say no if you don't.
I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna ask you not to include that.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Do you
Yeah, it's not something that I'm super proud of.
oh like that's fine. You don't have to watch any of it. Like honestly, like those are yeah. I'll cut it out, Sissy.
Like reality TV guy.
That's fair. I can understand where you're coming from in that aspect, especially like when there's no kings, in a lot of these shows. Like, but Murray Hill is going to do his drag king show.
I know. I'm so excited about that. Honestly,
Yeah.
I thought
I,
about applying it for it, but it was in the middle of Thunderdome that those applications were due, and I was like, I honestly all I can think about is Thunderdome.
okay.
That's what
That's
we have the space for. So maybe next year.
yeah. Well, there you go. Now you can watch reality television.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, no, I will watch that. I will be watching that. I'm really excited.
Oh no, for sure. I'm excited too. Like I hope it comes out really soon because I want to see who's in it and like get to know some more drag kings because I love my drag kings and I love my drag queens.
Yes.
I love my queens a lot, but like, the kings are they always bring the fun. Like they're
Yeah, yeah.
the party.
I agree. I love what Kings are doing. I love that we're being weird and silly and goofy. Like, you know, plenty of sexy Kings too, but like I don't know. I feel like Kings are so often storytellers.
Mhm.
Um, and that's like my favorite type of drag.
Oh yeah. If you don't know Mauve over in New York, like he's a drag king over there. He experiments a lot with like burlesque and the feminine side of like being a drag king, but also he camps it up just a little bit. He adds like a mustache to like all his looks. And
Yeah,
I think Mauve is so stunning. Show Pony as well. Show Pony's very glam rock,
yeah,
like super femme, like in drag, but it's also in like a grungy, like pop way. I
yeah,
love him so much. He's one of the best drag kings in Brooklyn. But yeah, I love our kings so much. And I love you. Like you've been such a joy. And I love having you on the show so far. I have one more question I do want to ask you before we get into our
yeah.
after show. Um, what is the future looking like for Chance Hazard? Like, what is something that you still want to accomplish this year? What's like the pipe dream? Like, what is something that you really want to do, but you haven't had a chance to do it yet?
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the beginning of this year being Thunderdome, I have taken the last 2 weeks off of drag because that just ended, and I have been focusing on sort of like taking a step back and like chilling out. This interview is the first step back. I'm going into drag now. I have, performances like every weekend and like throughout the week.
Oh yeah,
Can't afford to live in the city without drag. Um,
valid.
but it I mean, as far as what I look forward to is I look forward to connecting with more performers and producers and I really hope to do more competitions. I'd like to do some more festivals. I'm performing at the Seattle Erotic Arts Festival and at Kink Fest in Portland in the next couple of months. And that's super exciting to me. I performed at CEF last year, but it'll be my first time at Kink Fest. But like festivals, competitions, and new venues and audiences are what I'm looking for. Uh, I'm just looking forward to really expanding what I can do, and just seeing those shocked, elated looks on people's faces. That's what I love about drag, you know?
Oh
I
yeah.
I, I love to entertain and I love to surprise.
Oh yeah. And I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you really soon. I'm very excited to see more of you in the future.
I'm
I hope
insufferable. You can't get away.
you're not insufferable. You're absolutely charming. And I loved having you on. Your first podcast too. So like I think you did do you feel like you did a good job?
I mean, I think I did a good job. That's up to you though.
No, yeah, no. Like I wouldn't have picked you if I didn't think you were gonna do a good not gonna do a good job. And you did way better than I thought. You should do your own podcast. We need more. We need
I,
more
I
queer.
possibly I couldn't
We
possibly organize that.
it's not that hard. We need more queer BIPOC people to be on the podcast network. It can't just all be white straight people with a thing to say.
But they have so much to say.
Really? Yeah. A lot of it's wrong. A lot of it's wrong. A lot of it's
Hey,
crazy.
listen, not everything I say is right either.
You know what? Like if it's coming from a king, just shut up and smile and yes, king.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That helps my ego.
Yeah, I love that. Chance, where can people find you online?
I am on Instagram at Chance Hazard Drag. I have a Facebook, which is Chance Hazard. Um, and then just like keep an eye out for me in shows. I post all of the shows I'm going to be in on the Instagram and on the Facebook. Um, and then my email is chancehazarddrag@gmail.com. If you want to reach out to me for bookings. And my Venmo is Chance Hazard Drag if you want to tip me for being the cutest little king you ever seen.
Yeah, I love that. Yes, please always tip. We're gonna have every way you can support Chance in the description below. We'll have his link tree up. So I'll have everything that you need to know on there. And then for the people that are in Seattle, like where can people frequently find you?
I don't have a monthly show at the time, so honestly, follow my Insta, see where I'm gonna be at.
Yeah. Where do you like not so people could stalk you or anything, but like where's some of the places that you do like to go that people could like find you? Like what recommendations, real quick?
Recommendations. I mean, I be performing at Creme Work. I be performing at Unicorn, Queer Bar, Pony. You know, if
Okay.
you know the main gay bars definitely
Uh,
are where you'll find me the most.
okay. So if you want to meet Chance at any of those places, just like hide out there and he might show
Yeah,
up.
if you really wanna see me, I'm at burlesque karaoke every month at Queer Bar.
Ah, I love burlesque karaoke. We had Ruby Mimosa on the show, and the way
Oh,
she talked about it,
Mimosa,
me,
just like the sweetest pie you'll ever meet,
yes.
backstage, on stage.
Mhm.
Like, what a joy to speak to.
Yes, I agree. As someone who spoke with her on the show, so I was so happy that she wanted to do it. Anyway, thank you again, Chance, for being on the show. Wayward Artists, this has been the Rewind with Chance Hazard. I'm Thumali, Thumali, have been your host. Stay tuned for the after show on all social media platforms, specifically Instagram and TikTok. The Fast Forward, where we're going to ask Chance 5 questions I like to ask guests each and every week. But until next time, Wayward Artist, without further ado, it's been real. I need a better way to like do outros. I just like I feel like I think about them in the moment, but screw that up a little bit.
That seems very organized to me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you think so.